All right, let's get right into it. We're talking about one of the most critical things you'll do before you even start your engine, the air brake check. Now, this isn't just about passing your CDL test. This is about knowing, deep down, that you can stop that massive rig when it really counts. It's all about safety, right? For you and for everyone else sharing the road. So let's nail this thing down.
So let me ask you something. Picture this. You're fully loaded, cruising down the highway, and bam, you get a major air leak in one of your brake lines. What's the one thing, the single most important feature that's going to stop you from having a complete and total brake failure?
And there's your answer. It's all about redundancy. Modern trucks have two totally separate, independent air brake systems. So if one of them fails, the other one is still good to go, ready to bring you to a safe stop. I mean, this design is the absolute bedrock of safety in heavy vehicles.
So let's dig into that a little deeper. Why exactly do we have two systems? Because, honestly, once you get the why behind it, the how of doing your inspection just makes so much more sense. And you know, the genius of this design is its simplicity. You've got one brake pedal, right? But that one pedal controls two completely separate systems. Each one has its own air tanks, its own hoses, its own lines, the whole shebang. It's a fantastic failsafe. It means a huge leak in one system doesn't wipe out your braking power. The other system is always there as your backup.
Okay, so keeping that idea of redundancy in mind, let's hop in the cab for our very first check. This next part is all about your first line of defense, the low pressure warning. You've got to know it's working.
This is a test you're going to do every single day, no exceptions. So turn the key to get your power on, but leave the engine off. Now, all you're going to do is start fanning the brake pedal, just pumping it to bleed that air pressure down. And while you're doing that, all your focus should be on two things: your air gauges and your ears.
So what are you listening for? You're waiting for this magic number, 60 psi. The rules are super clear about this. That warning light and buzzer, they have to go off before your air pressure drops below 60. If they don't, that's not just a small problem. That's a major safety defect. This is your only early warning that you're losing air before those powerful spring brakes slam on.
Now, 60 psi is obviously a huge deal, but it's not the only number you need to have memorized. So let's move on and cover all the key pressure points you are responsible for knowing.
Just think of this right here as the vital signs for your air system. These numbers tell you if it's healthy. First up, the governor cutout. Your air compressor should stop pumping right around 125 psi. Then, the cut-in, where it kicks back on. That should happen at about 100 psi. After that, you've got your leak tests. With the brakes off, you shouldn't be losing more than 3 psi a minute for a straight truck or 4 for a combination vehicle. These aren't just good ideas. These are the numbers that will be on your exam and are vital for your daily checks.
And hey, if you're ever wondering why those governor numbers are so important, the official manual says it all. And I'm quoting this directly. A governor that does not work properly may not keep enough air pressure for safe driving. If this happens while driving, you should stop right away. See that? It doesn't say pull over when it's convenient. It says stop immediately. That's how serious this is.
Okay, we've gone over all the important checks inside the cab. Now it's time to get out of the truck and put your own eyes and hands on the equipment. Let's get into the hands-on inspection.
As you do your walk-around, you're basically on a hunt for deal breakers. Take a look at your brake drums or discs. If you spot a crack that's longer than half the width of that friction area, that truck is out of service, period. Check the linings and pads. Are they loose, covered in oil or grease, worn down to almost nothing? That's an out-of-service condition, and the whole time you should be listening. If you hear that hiss of an air leak from a hose, you stop. You get it fixed before that truck moves an inch.
Okay, let's really zoom in on one of the most critical parts of that hands-on check, and it's something they almost always test you on. We're talking about the automatic slack adjuster check.
This right here is the 1-inch rule, and it is absolutely vital. With your wheels chalked and the parking brakes released, you need to physically pull on that slack adjuster. You're measuring how much it moves right where the pushrod connects. If it travels more than an inch, you've got too much play. That's your limit, 1 inch. End of story.
And you really need to understand why that 1 inch of movement is such a huge red flag. See, on pretty much any modern truck which has automatic adjusters, finding that much play means something is broken. Tightening it yourself is literally just putting a band-aid on the problem. You're hiding the symptom, you're not fixing the real issue. That extra play is the truck telling you, hey, there's a mechanical problem here that a mechanic needs to fix.
And, well, that brings us to the reality of the rigs you're going to be driving.
Pretty much any heavy-duty truck built since 1994 has these automatic slack adjusters. So what's the takeaway? It's simple. If you find one that's out of adjustment, you don't fix it, you get that vehicle to a proper repair shop.
So you've done it all. You've checked the warnings, you know all your key numbers, you've done the walk-around, you've checked the slack. Now you have to ask yourself the most important question of the day. Is this truck actually safe to take out on the road? And the answer to that, well, it isn't in some book. It's in how well and how honestly you just did your inspection.
Because you know what? At the end of the day, that's what it all boils down to. A real, proper pre-trip inspection isn't just a suggestion, and it isn't just something you do to pass a test. It's the core responsibility of being a professional driver. It's your job.